Hey everyone, it's Madman bringing you another RSL video. Today we're going to tackle Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss here with my new Budget Unkillable team. So we're going to have Maneater and Painkeeper, and we're going to use Ninja, Geo, and Siege Hulk as the slow boy stun target. We'll quickly go here to set up and I'll show you. With Siege Hulk, we're prioritizing his A2 here. You can see it's not booked, but increased attack and decreased defense. So hopefully that'll land. And then Siege Breaker next with the increased crit rate, but mainly for the increased crit damage. Decreased speed's not going to do anything. And then his A1's really not going to do too much. He is actually 6-starred here. He's just 50. I don't have his Masteries. I haven't booked him out. But he is the slow boy stun target. Ninja, have him prioritize this freeze maneuver, which ramps up on bosses the damage over time. Then his HP burn, but also gives him perfect veil. And then Geo, we want him to do his HP burn, so this passive kicks in as a priority. Then Maneater, want to make sure he does his unkillable and block debuffs. And then just A2, because why not? I think it hits a little harder. With Painkeeper, we want her to do her cooldowns as a priority. And then the heals. So that's how I have them set up. Probably don't need this. I just want to ensure that their main skills are set up as a priority, even though we got to manual some of this. So this is unfortunately not a auto from the get-go team. But anyway, let's get into it. We don't want to do auto here. It would almost be, I could almost set it up on auto for at least Ultra Nightmare if it weren't for needing Geo's HP burn to be delayed. If they gave us a number of turns to delay these, even though they're priority, oh man, that would be so awesome. But that is not in the cards. Alright, so the way I have this set up, we start with his A3 and go unkillable. And then Painkeeper is going to reset the skills or cooldowns. Okay. Now the big thing here is to make sure that Siege Hulk takes more damage than Maneater, so he remains a stun target. I tried this the other day for the very first time. I think Maneater's defense was a little too low, and he was taking more damage on Void. Worked perfectly fine on Magic Affinity, but on Void he was taking a little too much damage, and he would become the stun target. Very first stun, so we're going to see if this works this time. So Geo, we want to just delay his A3, and we'll start with his A2. Ninja, we're going to go with his A3. Maneater should be A2. Siege Hulk, actually start with his A3. Painkeeper into her A2. Smack. Okay, he's not down as low as him. That's good. Okay, this is Geo. It's going to do the A1. Maneater's going to do the A1. Now Ninja, I realize got too many boosts, but you'll see later on. So going into the stun, he's going to do his HP burn. And he should never be the stun target because he's going to be under a perfect veil. And he'll always put this HP burn. Now normally we want Geo, but since he's only hitting one person that reflect back because of Geo's HP burn, it's not going to be a massive amount of damage loss versus what Ninja's going to pick up. So we'll do his HP burn. And then Painkeeper is obviously just an A1. Here comes the stun. Yes, it went on Siege Hulk. That's what I wanted. I was not getting that the other day. Alright. So, Maneater's A1. Siege Hulk we can do his A2. Now, Geo we're going to put out his burn. And it's supposed to last for 3 turns, but it's going to get overridden by Ninja before the stun. Painkeeper's A1. Ninja A1. Then Maneater goes unkillable again. Lose a lot of defense there. Okay, Painkeeper reset, so A3. A2 on Geo. A3 on Ninja. A2 on Maneater. Pardon the coughing, but I'm trying to get over being sick a little bit here, so bear with me. Alright, A1. A1. Put out the HP burn again. Do the A1 and hopefully Siege Hulk is the stun target. Yes, he is. So it looks like this is going to work. So we'll just go through this round and it should be auto-friendly. In fact, it should have been auto-friendly after we did the turns on the start of the second set of AoE ones, but just want to make sure that this goes according to plan. So we should have an A1 and A1 and then unkillable again. And now we can hit auto. Okay, we're on turn count 27 here. Should start seeing a little more ramp up in damage. Now the clan boss is definitely hitting harder here, just due to the reflecting damage from Geo's passive. So even though we're more than halfway and we're not even at 20 million, I'm predicting we should hit 40, maybe even 45 million by the end of turn 50, but we will see. $37.2 million on Void Ultra Nightmare Affinity Boss. Siege Hulk did not put out the damage I'd hoped. Ninja 11.6. 17.6 million for Geo. Maneater put out quite a bit there, 3.7, even 2.7 from Painkeeper. So Siege Hulk is a stun boy. Granny's not getting that many turns and stuff. Probably gonna replace him. Maybe a frozen banshee. Because I could probably get somewhere between 1 and 2 million damage out of her just from poisons. But solid 2 key. I know 1 key is possible on a budget. But man, you have to have the champs and you have to have the gear to do it. But we will go look at these champs and see you in a minute. Alright, let's take a look at these champs and their gearing. We'll start with our slow boy here, Siege Hulk. Pretty much most of these guys are geared up in just broken sets because you want to get to the stats you need. So his total stats here, 40,723 HP. You want whoever your slow boy is to have the most amount of HP and the lowest defense. So his defense is 1240. His speed is 118. I want to say that's close to the top end. There is a speed range, and I can show you some of that stuff later here. But anyway, just for his skills, I try to give him enough damage, you know, crit rate and accuracy. But obviously he's not getting it done. I mean, I could change it because you'll see here, none of his skills are booked. I just grabbed him literally quick because I was like, alright, you know, the increased crit rate and crit damage could help him out doing some damage. Increased attack on himself could help. And then if he places a decreased defense, that'll help the others. But not being booked doesn't help too much. And of course he has no mastery, so he would do more damage that way. Probably need to build him out, but you know, you got 1,000,001 champs, so what are you gonna do? Anyway, those are stats. They're pretty important, but I will discuss that a little later. Let's finish going through the champs here. Let's see who we have next up. I'll probably switch out Siege Hulk for Frozen Banshee, but next available, Painkeeper. So Painkeeper in 1 divide speed set, otherwise broken sets there. Her total stats 38,000, so you want to be her to be next to the close to highest. Preferably all the rest of these champions you want over 2,000 defense, but so she's at 2,200. 218, again another tight window, and we can play around with that a little bit. But I gave her 100% crit rate, 158% crit damage, and over 2,500 in attack here for to get as much damage out as you possibly can. But her skills don't have to have this damage book, but obviously more damage is better. Every little bit helps. You do need to have this booked. She takes quite a lot of books, but you know, she's just a rare, so that shouldn't be too hard, and you definitely have to have this booked out. As far as masteries here, just mostly standard clan boss down to Helm Smasher. She's not the stun target. You want Life Drinker. So pretty much all the champs, you're going to come down this clan boss tree, take Life Drinker unless they're the slow boy stun target. I didn't go counterattack. I don't want her changing because her A1 got some turn meter boost. I don't want any of that changing, so just down the defense tree, down the offensive tree as far as her masteries go. Who we got next? I believe we got Geo next. So Now, Geo's the interesting one. All the budget unkillables that I found, run Geo as the slow boy. But I'm going to show you how to not have to use him as a slow boy. But here's his masteries. Come down here to Giant Slayer, but I'm trying to remember, I think with the change, I need to actually come down, redo this, and come down to Helm Smasher. We'll look at my other Geos thing, because yeah, with that nerf or buff or whatever you want to call it, they did. Then you come down to Helm Smasher. But I went down support to give them a little more accuracy, because I definitely want that HP burn to land. Now, here's the trick with him, and I got pretty lucky when it comes down to it. Let me go show you his artifacts first. Just one speed set, the rest broken. So here's his stats: 35, almost 3,700 in attack, over 2,000 again in defense. His speed's 177. You got a little bit of range. Actually, I think you got a little more range on that, but most everybody else's DPS champ is right around that in the videos and everything that I've seen. Crit damage over 100%. I know extra, but you get what you get. 169 crit damage, 263 accuracy. Should be more than enough accuracy to land, but I want to make sure. The hard parts here when doing these builds is pretty tight window with the HP. The defense not so bad, but the HP you got to watch, and the speeds. So now, since he's not my slow boy, because I want to change the slow boy out depending on the affinity boss, and theoretically you should only need 2 slow boys, 1 magic and 1 force. And the reason behind that is, since Ninja puts on perfect veil after his HP burn, and we're using his HP burn right before the stun, he's under veil, so he should never be the stun target. That being said, if you use a magic affinity when you're going up against a force or magic affinity clan boss, that magic affinity champion applies, and you can use them on void. And then you're going to need a force champion for when you're going against spirit, so they don't target Geomancer. They'll target the other force champion. So spirit will target the other champion, not Geo, and that should work for spirit and or void as well. And those leave you only 2 different stun targets you got to cycle through, depending on which affinity clan boss you're going through, and you can run Geo. Now, let's go in here and look. So I got books to land here. Notice he's not fully booked here, because in order for this to work, because of Painkeeper's passive of the skill cooldowns, this needs to be on 3 turn cooldown, so that he'll, right before AoE 1 each go around, he places that HP burn and the weaken. And since she decreases that, it needs to be on a 4 turn cooldown, not a 3. Now if he's a slow boy, you want him on 3 and fully booked. So without him being fully booked, I got lucky, or unlucky, depending on how you want to look at it, with books all landing here, at least all for the damage. And it doesn't matter, because this will get turned to a 3 turn cooldown with her Painkeeper's skill as well. And then fully booked here for the debuff and damage chance. So I got lucky with, could have been nice 1 book there, but really doesn't matter. Actually, it saves me a book when you sit there and think about it, because So supposedly these get turned to 3-turn cooldowns. He'll just use this now. If this was fully booked, then it'd probably cycle almost between just these two and almost never do this. I'd have to look, but not that we care about decreased accuracy, and it may not be a bad thing, but anyway, the big thing here is that as Quicksand Grass, with this placing his HP burn and weaken, is on a 4-turn cooldown, since he's not going to be the stun target. So the 4 champs will remain the same, and I will just rotate the slow boy stun target champ. If it's fully booked, then you're going to want to make him the slow boy. So that's Geo. Next up, we got Maneater here. Just broken set. These were pretty quick builds. But his HP 35,000 range. I had to bump up his defense. So I tested this the other day for the first time. It worked flawlessly on magic. It was a lot more damage on magic, but of course on Finny's boss expect that. But this was at about just over 2,000 defense, and it wasn't quite enough. He was taking just a little too much damage compared to the stun target, and literally first stun round, he's the one who got stunned, so that means, you know, the whole run's falling apart. Anyway, his speed's 241. You can increase on any of these champs except for the slow boy. You can increase this defense up all you want. You know, it's not beneficial, but you know, if you're having a little problem there, you can increase the defense up there so that they don't become stun targets. But obviously on Unkillable, you want to maximize damage, so he's at 2,700 there. 100% crit rate, 128% crit damage. Low accuracy. I don't want him having accuracy, so I'm taking a chance. I mean, I want him to crit to get maximum damage, but I don't want to have his accuracy, and I'll show you here why. Under his skills, his A1 puts decreased attack. I don't want the boss actually having decreased attack. The harder he hits, the better off the reflect damage from Geo's passive is. And that's why Geo puts out so much damage. But I want him doing as much damage, so you can book this or not. Obviously booking it gives you more damage. Fully depletes the turn meter and all this. Again, more damage. You don't have to really book him out. This is the only one you do have to book out for sure. Is get this booked out so he can place his Unkillable and block debuffs. But yeah, so I don't want him doing decreased attack. Doesn't matter. That's the whole point with a Unkillable. Budget or not, you don't care about decreased attack because you're not going to die. And if you got someone like Geo doing reflect damage or something, you'd rather clan boss hit harder. As far as his masteries here go, you know, just straight down, take life drinker. He's okay to counterattack. So we went down these masteries, but I mean, I probably could have taken this, but you don't want Cycle of Violence, anything that's going to affect the cooldowns of skills or your turn meter stuff. I mean, it could go off that, but resistance is futile in this one. And leech, you got to be careful. You don't want the stun void and stuff healing up to the point where all of a sudden the stun target changes. So those are the masteries for Maneater. For Ninja, we'll go into the masteries. Pretty much standard clan boss build here. Again, he's got life drinker. You can come down here to get the accuracy. Laura Steel is okay for set bonuses. as long as it doesn't give you turn meter boost type of equipment. You know, now decreasing turn meter, not a big deal. This is for other builds, but it's not going to work on the boss, the clan boss there. But hey, if his HP burns, extend or whatever, these are mostly for other utility purposes. And of course, you want to make sure that any opportunity to land stuff. So mainly just the accuracy here. You don't need all this, but Ninja gets used in a lot of places for me on my account, so I went with that kind of skill line there for support. His skills, of course, my Ninja is fully booked. Decreased defense, fortunately it's 45, 60%, then 65 with the Masteries there to land decreased defense debuff, which obviously will let you get more damage, but it's not 100%. His HP burn, and again, puts up perfect veil. So if he's doing this right before the stun, Clan Boss only hit one person, so we're not losing a lot of damage from reflect damage from Geo. Ninja's HP burn hits pretty damn hard, plus he gets a perfect veil. This is why a lot of people use Ninja in Clan Boss. So we don't have to worry about, like I said, don't have to worry about him being the stun target, because he's going to be under veil right before the stun. He gets all the damage from those HP burns, and then next go around, Geo's overriding it. So then his Cyan Slash, freeze, not going to happen. When targeting a boss, we'll ignore 50% of the defense, we'll also decrease the cooldown. And I thought this skill, well, maybe it's his passive. Anyway, this is a very hard hitting skill, as you know. Then his passive increases Ninja's attack by 10% up to 100% crit damage, up to 25% after several rounds. So when fighting a boss, it essentially just doubles up to get there quicker. But so that's his passive. So this is why Ninja is also good for Clan Boss. Now, I used to have him at 205 speed for my old Clan Boss team, and all I had to change out was this piece of gear and this piece of gear, so I could easily swap and go back to 205. He doesn't need to be in lifesteal. Like I said, I use him other places, so I might switch him to poison, but we'll see. But it might be a little bit before I do that, just for the purpose of I'd like to at least clear stage 21 infection wars first, and lifesteal will be a big help to him. And I can use them in the other Clan Boss team by just changing those two pieces out real quick. Actually, see, this is just switched from attack. It was a speed boot there. But anyway, let's go look at his stats. 35,500. Got his attack up there. Unfortunately, I don't have his crit damage up high enough to match, but you can see 1,700 defense. Doesn't matter. This would probably actually be worse off than the slow boys since he's under veil. But his speed's 163, pretty tight. Well, I don't know how tight the range is. 161 is the slowest he can be for this to work. Of course, you want 100% crit rate, as much crit damage, and I'd like a little more accuracy, but it is what it is. Between swapping, I mean, I could do something else, but since I only want to swap the two pieces out, I didn't like totally re-gear him yet. Maybe in a week or two, once Faction Wars is hopefully 21 is complete, because he's going to be a big part of my team, probably for most people too. Once that's complete, then I can just give him more a permanent build for Clan Boss. But I do like using them in Doom Tower. Don't use them in dungeons actually too much, but definitely in Doom Tower for the waves and stuff. Unfortunately, not going to be super great for Hydra, but at the moment, I know it's going to shock everybody, I really don't care about Hydra. It doesn't interest me at the moment. So much RNG, so many different champions. As soon as you figure speed tune out, it could just all go belly up by killing one head and a different head showing up. So, yeah. Hopefully down the line, maybe I'll get more into Hydra, but right now, you know, I've been waiting forever to build even a budget clan boss team. So, those are their stats. The masteries, I probably need to change the mastery on Geo. In fact, I'm pretty sure I do, because this is my other Geo. Yeah, they switch things up. So, I will try a few more the way it is, and then I'm going to switch over to this and see if that gives me some better results. Nice thing having about 2 Geos is I didn't have to screw with all the gear on my first Geo because he's in my other clan boss team. And so is Ninja. So there's speed tunes for that. But, so those are the champs. We'll pause here. I will show you the stun calculator and the speed tune from. Alright, back with you here. So, Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, 241 speed with Maneater. There's several videos on all this as far as Maneaters and Painkeeper speed. Someone showed me a link, and of course, Deadwood and the numerous other people have kind of gone over this either using Geo and or using Geo and Ninja. So I was going to show you, let's see, 176. Let's see here, wow. So apparently 164 it'll work. To 178. So we're at close to the upper limit there. But that's a pretty big range for that. Now I can tell you, okay, so he's got lower steel and 1 speed set. So don't forget to put that information in there. Now here's the thing, Ninja is going to do his HP burn here on right before the stun. 162, 161 is the slowest, because if I go 160 then it changes. He's doing his burn, but then he falls off here, so that's bad. So at least 161, but 163. I think you actually go up pretty high. Up to 176. Don't want to push this theory. Besides, with your DPSs, the closer to slower range, theoretically, the better you can get more damage because you're not putting the speed, but that is that. And then Siege Hulk or whoever you're going to choose for your slow boy stun target now, 218, I can't remember. I want to say that's up to the closer limit here. 19, yeah. So 220, I want to say down to, or 120, all the way down to 111. Wow. Okay, 109. So 110 to 120. But sometimes it's pretty hard to get that slow speeds depending on how built up your champs are. And if you got faction guardians and all that. So as you can see here, we'll start off placing Unkillable, and then we'll use Painkeeper's cooldowns on the buffs. A2, A2. We want Ninja. He's putting his HP burn right before the stun every single turn, right before the stun. So that's good there. And then Geomancer putting his burn, overriding Ninja's before AoE 1. This is 3-turn cooldown, AoE 2. So that we're getting maximum reflex damage back out. And as you can see, that works there. And then it's just whatever skills Slowboy's got, and then of course, you know, Painkeeper and Maneater, as you can see here, boom. So A3. After turn 3, he's doing his A3, A3, HP burn. A3, A2, A3, 2. Siege Hole's the only one thing. So theoretically, once you do turn 3, you should be able to hit auto right here. Better to be on the safe side. But anyway, as you can see, instead of 3-turn and 3-turn cooldown, it's 4-turn and 4-turn with Geo to make this work. So if you got an extra Geo, great. If you want to do this and you haven't booked out Geo, great. But I'm going to show you, this is original posting from Dead Jedi Speed Tune. Hopefully it'll show up here. So you can see they got Frozen Banshee there. Geo's the slow boy there. Both of them are on 3-turn cooldown. You can find this on the website, on Reddit. There's stuff everywhere where, you know, of course, Ninja's putting his HP burn, Geo's doing his, but Geo's only getting 2 turns and he's a stun target. But I don't want him to be, I mean, you could. I could play around with my first Geo since he's on full cooldown, slow him down and see if I'm actually getting more damage out of Geo, but since most of his damage between HP burn and the reflect, I don't see a huge gain, I guess, really, between going either way, so I might want to swap to this. We'll see. But I didn't want, since Geo's was in my other main clan boss team, my original Geo, I didn't want to screw things up there to start yet, so might go back to that. I'll show you right here. So again, same thing, but we got to bump Siege Hulk up to 121 speed. This is for Nightmare, not Ultra Nightmare. So you can see Geo gets a turn in here too now this time. Maneater's not starting with his Unkillable. Painkeeper, you know, why she's doing that, but we wanted to get to where it's set. Unfortunately, this one is a little bit of a pain. If you kind of looking at all these skills here, things are changing a little bit. But it finally settles in at turn count 9 here. And then everything, yeah, Maneater, if you look, he finally settles in turn count 9 here with his A3s for the 2 Unkillables. I did run this last night against Force Affinity Clan Boss with the defenses and HPs, and it does work. You will survive these hits until you can get to turn 9, so it should work on all of them. The only one I'm a little concerned about, but I don't think it's going to be a problem, is Spirit, but it looks like everybody should be under Unkillable, at least for those turns, so it should work for Nightmare. Now, it's not going to put out actually as much damage on Nightmare. Well, Void it might. It's not going to put out as much damage on Nightmare as Ultra Nightmare because of the Clan Boss not hitting as hard and most of our damage coming from Geo and Reflect. Alright, so here's the stun calculator. You've got a little bit of range here, but you can play around. The more defense you got, the better. But I'll show you, I want to say 2050 originally. Yeah, you had to have a little more than that. All of a sudden, mana uses stun target. Not good, right? So, but you can up his defense. So, I mean, I could put 5,000, right? And he's not going to be the stun target. 10,000. So, but now, just out of curiosity, if I went to 41,000 on the HP, of course, we're not getting 10,000. So that didn't change there either. But put back his original stats here real quick for you. But as you saw there, with the lower HP, what you want lower than your stun target, just up their defense a little more. I mean, 2,000 is nice, but then the requirements are going to change for the defense here, which might be harder to hit. I mean, you know, you got some of your gear, and it's like, great, I can get there with the HP and get the damage or accuracy or the speed that I want, but then I got so much, you know, defense. Well, you can just up their defense. But basically, I want to say, at least for this team, if you go 35 to 37, 38,000, with all of maybe a little higher for Painkeeper, but you keep it in that range for Mana Eater and the 2 DPSs, and at least 2,000 defense, then you can stick with about 40,000 for Siege Hulk, or, well, any stun champion. 40, 41,000 there, maybe up to as high as 1,500. Like I said, with Ninja, not a big deal, because he's going to have the Veil. But you can use the stun calculator, play around with these numbers here, so that you know, you make sure that your stun target, not 100%, it was off a little bit. I had to actually up Man Eater's defense because I was right at the threshold, and then the first time I did it in actual reality, I was below the threshold there, and so he was becoming the stun target. But there's the calculator. You can play around with that. Like I said, I played around with it some, just showed you a little bit there. Up in the defense will definitely help, with the exception of your stun target, and then that'll help you determine the HP ranges before you go build all your champs, because gearing champs is a pain. Cost all kinds of coin, and that's one of the biggest assets in the game. I know there's energy and shards and champions and all that, but you can't gear them. You can't roll up your gear. Who cares? It doesn't matter what champ you got if you can't roll up your gear and make them great. So, and Plarium knows it. That's why they offer ridiculous prices on the coins packs. And it's so hard to get the coin unless you're spending money. But anyway, that's a whole nother argument for a whole nother day. So there's the Clan Boss team I built. I need to play around with like stun targets. Might put Geo or Ninja in a toxic set to get a little more damage out. Because really, I mean, we got HP burn going out, hopefully a little decreased defense and weaken, and that's pretty much it. So there's 7 debuff bars we could fill up with poisons to get maximum damage out of this team. Do we need full 7? You don't want to overkill, that's for sure, because you definitely want to have those HP burns out there. Weaken, helpful, but not as big a deal. Definitely want the HP burns though. But that's the team there. Probably made this video longer than I want, but hopefully you find this helpful. You can run Geo and Ninja. There are other guides if you want to use Geo as the slow boy, and there might be benefits to running them as the slow boy and using another DPSer. So I just started this team, so it will be a play around with, but we're, right off the bat, 2 key team, so I'm happy with it for now. Y'all have a good day.